Yeah, go.
We're speaking to Shamir Rajadurai this morning. He is a crime safety specialist from Prevent Crime Now. Shamir, thank you so much for speaking to us this morning.
Oh, thank you very much, Bel and JD, for having me on the show.
Now, this whole week, we're talking about scammers. And I mean, we've read so many types of different scams from the papers and people complaining that they've lost hundreds and thousands, even in the millions,
Yeah, whole life savings,
to
right?
these scammers.
Yeah.
And the Macau scam seems to be the most rampant one over the past couple of months, actually. What is the Macau scam?
Well, actually, that's very true. Macau scam is actually one of the most rampant scams in Malaysia. And what is a Macau scam? It's basically somebody pretending to be a person of authority that calls you and makes you panic. And then, they somehow convince you to transfer your savings into their account, which is supposed to be a government account or a particular bank account to safeguard your savings. So that's basically what a Macau scam is. How it works, very simple. I'm going to give you a call and I'm going to say, hey, I'm calling, for example, from a bank, and you have taken a loan with us and you've not paid us back. The loan is maybe 50,000. And you're going to say, no, look, I don't even have an account with your bank.
Yeah.
And this is going to go back and forth for a while. And they're going to say, no, your details are so and so. And what's interesting is they are going to read you your IC number, which is going to be accurate.
That's very scary.
Yeah, they're probably going to even, your full name, maybe your address, all the details just to convince you that they are from that particular, let's say, bank. And what happens after a while, they're going to say, okay, sir, I think what has happened here is that someone has used your details and opened up an account under your name. And you'll be like, oh yeah, that's exactly what happened, right? And they're going to say, don't worry, sir, I'm going to connect you now to the police station and please make a report. Stay on the line. And they are going to connect you to the police station. What happens then? The officer will go through this same process, This is what's interesting. The police officer's role is basically to identify what do you do for a living and roughly how much they can swindle from you.
Oh.
That's his role. Okay. So he's going to talk to you, what do you do for a living? How come did you take a loan for this amount? And you're going to say, look, I don't even, that's not even my money. I do this for a living. And he's going to go back and forth for it. He's going to say, okay, I am going to now help you. We are going to take a police report. And then what happens? They connect you to a bank negara official who is then going to say, yeah, because if not, your assets are going to be frozen in the next 2 hours or 3 hours. But one of the tactics they use as well is they say, if you don't sort this out within the next hour or 2 hours, this is what's going to happen. We are going to freeze all your assets. And what's interesting about this whole thing as well is that they will always call you from a state which is more than 2 hours away. So and they say, you have to go. They say, we got a call last time. He said, no, I have to go to the Terengganu police station to make a report. And I said, how do you expect me to be there in 2 hours? He said, no, sir, if you don't come, we have to take action against you. And then they connect me to a bank negara official and they tell me, okay, sir, don't worry. All you need to do is we are going to try to at least make sure your assets don't get frozen. What you do, you transfer this amount, whatever amount of money you can into this particular account. Once we sort this out in the next 2 hours, I'm going to transfer it back to you.
Right.
And in that moment, you're panicking. You've got your life savings there. You've got no money. Now it's COVID. You need money. You end up transferring your money. So this whole thing is designed in a way, one, to really make you panic. And that's when they really take advantage of the situation. But every individual plays a very specific role.
Yeah. So have you ever been scammed in a Macau scam before?
Well, they've tried it on us. So they called us. And what's interesting is because, of course, we have an office landline, but we never use it. Even we don't know what our number is. We're always on the move, so everybody calls us on our mobile. So whenever the office line rings, we know it's a scammer.
Right.
No one else has her number.
Even we don't know the number, right?
I still don't know my number. But what's interesting about this whole thing is that if I don't know my number, the only people that know my number are my service providers, which means someone in that agency has told my number.
Yeah.
It's the only way they can get that number. So this is roughly how it works. So yeah, these guys called us. They claim to be bank officials. Claim to be a police, but among everyone, I have to say the police officer was the most convincing individual in that whole scam.
Really?
Yes, he really sounded like a police officer. You know, that tough voice, you know, tegak. Encik, buat apa ni sampai ada loan 50,000 tak bayar? That kind of thing. And one part which I thought was very interesting, he asked me, where are you? I said, I'm in the office now. And of course, he asked, what do you do for a living? I said, oh no, I'm just a clerk in this office, so on and so forth. He said, okay, I tell you what, I'm going to take the report now. I need you to go to a room which no one is in. I said, why? He said, no, so I'm going to take a report. I cannot have a third party individual interrupt your report or influence your report.
Wow.
Yes, but the main reason why they do it is because over the years or during this period of time, a lot of people in the office, while listening to their colleagues make a police report, have said, put the phone down. This is a scam. So now they know that then you go to a different room and he says, ini encik undang-undang, ini encik, ini tidak boleh ada sesiapa pihak ketiga yang boleh mempengaruhi laporan encik. Those are the kind of things he say.
Right.
And, you know, with that tough voice.
So it sounds legit, but it's all prepped in such a way to instill fear in you, right?
Yes, and it's so legit. It's so legit. The way they do it, they are properly trained. You know how you go for, if you've done a job as a telemarketer, you go through training. These guys go for training as well. So every individual plays a specific role in the whole thing.
But why is it so rampant here in Malaysia? Why is this scam so rampant here?
Oh, well, that's a very good question. I'm going to give you the most honest answer I can probably give you.
That we can air?
Yeah, you can. I believe you can. Because this was reported in the papers. So one of the main reasons why this is so rampant is, I think, like what we've seen very recently, one of the datos was involved in it, and he had these officials on their payroll. So, you know, he never got caught. And this guy was probably the first, I'm not going to say first individual, but very interestingly, he escaped from SPRM office when he went there for questioning, you know.
Correct. Yeah, he jumped the wall.
He scaled the wall. I don't know how he did it. This guy, not like he's some American Ninja Warrior or something, you know, but he scaled the wall. But I guess that's the benefit of having certain people on your payroll. But that's one of the reasons why it is rampant. It's because these things happening. But it's good that, you know, the commercial crime department, the police commercial crime department is very strict on this crackdown at the moment. You've got people like Dato' Akril Sani on there, people like Dato' SAC Sasikala on there. And these guys are really, you know, really going and trying to crack down this whole thing. But also the main reason why it's so rampant is because it's the most profitable scam in Malaysia. It's so profitable. Let me just share with you how profitable this thing is. Most of the times, you know, you shared earlier, some people lose 10,000s, 20,000s, 100,000s. The Macau scam is not $1,000 scam. It's a 5-figure scam. It's a 6-figure scam. And let me just tell you this number. This is very interesting. Every year, you know, most of the time we hear scams, a few 100 million maybe. Macau scam is in the billions.
Wow.
Yes. So just last year, you're talking about just 2019, you had a total loss of approximately 2.5 billion ringgit a year. So let me break down those numbers. I'm just looking at your faces and your
I am shocked.
So let me break down those numbers, which means every month about 208 million ringgit is lost to the scammers every month, which means on a daily basis, about 6.8 million ringgit is lost to the scammers. Daily basis, 6.8 million ringgit is lost. You and me are in the wrong industry.
You're right.
Right.
6.8 million a day lost to scammers, to Macau scammers.
Macau scam alone.
Why is it known as Macau scam?
Yeah, that's
actually?
another thing.
Okay, so
Did it originate from Macau or
so
what?
there is a thing where some people have said it originated from Macau, or the other people say the first victim was someone from Macau. So it's one of the two. So that's why it's called a Macau scam.
But this one, like the Macau scam that we know of is in Malaysia. So they operate in Malaysia, or does the money get transferred out of the country, or how
No,
does
so the money gets transferred in Malaysia. Some of these call centers are in Malaysia. Some of them are overseas, depending on how they would like to, you know, be careful about. That's how actually they bypass a lot of laws. You know, that's why it's very difficult to catch them. These guys calling you overseas, there's no way of catching them. And what they do is they use something called a VoIP, Voice over Internet Protocol, which then masks their phone number. So I can call someone with a VoIP from LITE FM and say, hey, you've just won something, you know, congratulations. I just need these details from you. And when they look at the number, it is LITE FM's number.
And if they call back,
Yeah.
they call.
Then it goes directly to LITE FM. So
that's how it works.
Yes.
Okay.
So
hopefully nobody's using us for scam.
hopefully no one does that. Yeah.
But Shamir, what can we do though to prevent being scammed? Are there ways for us to identify a scam? Because sometimes we think, people who are vulnerable only they get scammed, people who are elderly get scammed. But some very educated people, some very rich people get scammed as well.
So that's the interesting thing about a Macau scam. And people like what you said is exactly true. People always say, the elderly, the people not so educated get scammed. But the Macau scam has proven to be the opposite. It targets educated individuals. And why do they target educated individuals and working professionals, doctors, engineers? These are the guys they target. The main reason why they target these individuals instead of someone less educated or some old auntie or uncle in the kampong is because the educated group is the one that has the money.
Right.
It's not a $1,000, $2,000 scam. It's a $10,000, $20,000 scam minimum. You're looking at it per individual. So if I were to target someone from the kampong in comparison to the doctor, I'm going to make more money from this doctor. Yeah, and I've got this whole database. It's okay. You put down the phone number. I'm going to call the next person. I'm going to call the next person.
It's literally like cold calling. Like
it is
in sales. It's cold calling, right?
It is. It is exactly like that.
And you wonder where they get all these details from, though.
That's very easy. Well, your data sells for about, just say I got your name, your address, your phone number. Sells maybe about 50 cents per name. If I buy in a bulk, in a larger bulk, then it's of course cheaper. Then if I have your credit card details or bank details, then it's more, maybe RM1 per name. So
it's for sale.
It's for sale, yes, of course. You can get all this. Yeah, so
how safe is it now that we have to write down our phone numbers and IC numbers in the logbook when we go into shops?
So they do that My Sejahtera, right?
Yeah. Yes. So, well, the thing about My Sejahtera, of course, it has all your details as well. But the PDPA does not apply to My Sejahtera, Personal Data Protection Act. It does not apply to My Sejahtera because it's a government agency. PDPA does not apply to the government agencies. But of course, when you go and you write down your details and how safe it is, well, it's not. But the same goes to whenever, just say you go and visit your friend in an apartment, you have to give your IC, your license, whenever you enter a corporate building, you have to give those details as well. Yeah. So is it safe? No, it's not. Is there any way around it? Unfortunately, no, because that's what we have become accustomed to.
Yeah.
There's the whole check and balance of, okay, fine. If I don't take your details, how am I going to keep my occupant safe? So that whole debate is there.
I see where that's going also, but because you can't be living in fear constantly also in a way.
True. Right? And some of these details are needed, required.
Yeah.
Like just say, for example, when every time I come over to Astro Studio, I have to check myself in. I have to give my IC. They take all my details down, my contact number. I'm sure there's you all have your SOPs and all to make sure things don't leak. But other places you don't know if people are selling this data. Somebody just needs to sit down with the database from the My Sejahtera. Every time you go into a restaurant, type everything up, and it's for sale.
Yeah. And they probably know that this fella likes this thing in Chap Fan. He orders all the expensive stuff. Sure got money, right?
Now, Shamir, besides the Macau scam, what other scams are there in our country? Can you tell us a little bit more about these other scams and what to look out for?
What to look out for? Well, the next one, which is quite popular, is something called Pinjaman Tak Wujud. Basically, it's a scam whereby somebody pretends to be a money lender, and you say, hey, can I borrow some cash? He said, yeah, no problem. Just send me your payslip. We will go through the process. So how this thing works is very interesting. Is that just say you want to borrow 5,000 ringgit, you submit your documentation, and they will call you back and they'll say, hey, sir, actually with your bank statement and your salary, I can give you 50,000, and you'll be like, oh, okay, good. I need that, and I'm going to give you a very low interest rate, right? Very competitive to the banks. And you're going to say, okay, that's great. But sir, to process this, I need you to, you need me to convince my boss lah. So I need you just to bank in 1,000 ringgit first, and I'll get this process. You banked in the 1,000. And then they're going to call you back again. Okay, sir, just one more part of it. I need you to bank in another 1,000 because my boss is not too convinced. by the end of it, sometimes you banked in more than what you originally wanted to borrow.
Yeah.
But because you're so invested in it, you've already put that money, you don't want to stop halfway. So yeah, when I spoke to some of these victims and all, I said, I've already given 5,000. If I stop now, I lose that money. And that's why they don't stop and they keep giving, hoping that they actually get that 50,000 at the end of the day. So that's one of the other more famous scams. You've got the love scam. You've got, of course, online shopping scams. And you've got like something like a parcel scam. And also these are some of the more famous ones.
The black money scam also is another one, right? If I remember correctly, the black money scam, like on the streets and everything one.
They're too small a number for...
Oh, really? Is it? Seriously? Okay.
Yeah. But of course, you've got fake money which is going around. Every year we get roughly about R1 million caught fake money just circulating around the country. So yeah, that's one of it. But you would want to be very careful. Another thing which, it's in the millions, high millions would be, of course, the commercials, online buying scams and all, especially when you buy from certain platforms where you either transfer your money first or, pay by cash or something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, I've heard of someone who actually shared with me that they bought a bag online for like 500 ringgit, and then after that, the seller just went quiet.
So
that's it.
Wow.
That's one of the techniques. So one of the things they do is that they would post something up, and it usually happens with things like this, maybe a bag or maybe a vehicle. So one of the techniques, just say, I want to sell maybe my Proton Perdana. Market price is about 60,000. I'm going to put it up for 25,000. Everyone is going to call me because they're like, oh, this is way below market price.
Yeah.
And as the scammer, I'm going to say this. I'm going to say, look, bro, a lot of people are calling me. You know what? Whoever banks in the deposit first, I keep the car for them. So I'd say, how much deposit? Okay, maybe 500 or maybe 1,000. And I'm going to do the same thing with 20, 30 other people. Once I've made that 30,000, my number goes dead.
Right.
And then I just take another picture of another car, I put it up, that kind of, that's how the scam goes. So don't be enticed by all these things. If it's way below market rate, something is wrong.
I gotta
If
say
it's
though,
too good to be true, it's not true.
But I gotta say
true.
that these people, highly intelligent.
Very.
Right? But in the most dodgy way ever.
In my experience interviewing criminals and all, sometimes you sit down with them and you just think, if these guys had redirected their minds to just something else, my God, they could be big time company owners or something like that. Very smart, very intelligent. If I sit down with a crook for maybe about 45 minutes and he's teaching me about, the human psychology, how they steal from people, and these kind of things, you learn so much more than what I could probably learn in a semester in the university. So intelligent people.
But so knowing what you know, right? Yeah. What can we do to prevent ourselves from getting scammed?
Well, a few things. Well, the main way of prevention, I think, or a few channels of prevention. One is, of course, for people to listen to LITE FM. You are sharing. No, but this is one of the platforms. It's through this sort of platforms that people understand how these scams are happening and how severe this is. Another way is that we have a channel as well called Prevent Crime Now on Facebook, or another one called Crime Crooks and Criminology. You can check us out. It's very interesting, those channels, because what we do from time to time, we actually educate people on what are the current scams which are going on. And it's with statistics and preventive measures on very specific scams. Mm-hmm. And another thing to do to prevent from becoming a victim is never, ever reveal your details. Doesn't matter to who. The person can say, I'm a police officer, it's fine. I still don't need to reveal my details to you. If anything, I will come to the police station to sort this out. A bank calls you, you tell them, please tell me my details. You are calling me because something is wrong. So never reveal your details. And then another thing is, if you get a call and you're suspicious or you start to panic, cut the line and call the office back. Go online, Google the number and call that office back. Like just say the police station calls you, they say, oh, I'm from Bukit Aman. Cut the line, call Bukit Aman back directly and say, I received a call like this. And if all else fails, you are still worried, you are not too sure what to do, you can always give me a call. My number is on on our Facebook page as well. So our number is 24/7. So feel free to give us a call.
Oh,
but
wow.
That's the thing though. I mean, you don't dare to put the phone down on a call.
Yeah, okay.
That's the thing though. Psychologically, that just sounds wrong.
Actually, that's a very good question. And I think what's important for the listeners out there to know is that no matter what, it can be anyone who calls you, you can cut the line. just cut the line. And if anything, they will call you back or you call them back. But don't be afraid to cut the line or to tell the person, look, I'm not too sure if this is a scam or not. I'm going to cut the line at the moment and I'm going to call your department back and I'm going to ask for your name.
Right.
So
Well,
that would be a better one.
that's the thing. So scams have been on in Malaysia for so long. Like if you go to an ATM machine, there's actually signages that say, don't reveal this, don't reveal that, be careful and everything. So why do people still fall for things like this? So psychologically, is there something like that's weak about us that we're so easily preyed on?
No, but I guess that's a very interesting thing to say. But also, I think that just proves that nobody reads this sort of thing. So, but that's why I always tell people. I said, and sometimes when I talk to bankers, I say you can put these notices there. Nobody is going to read it because everybody is just there. They want to take out their money and they want to leave.
Yeah.
But it's good that you read, but most people, they just put the card next. Okay, put in the PIN number and leave. So, but it's also a thing where we are a bit complacent and we also think that, we are too smart for this. This is never going to happen to me until we receive that call.
Exactly. A lot of people who have been scammed say, I never thought this would happen to me. I've read it in
Yes.
the papers. I thought, these people are just so gullible, right? It will
Yes.
never happen to me. But until it happens,
Yeah.
then you realize, oh, okay.
Yep.
Oh.
But can we get our money back if we've been scammed?
No.
No way.
Okay, there is a way of getting your money back, which basically, if sometimes happens with small time scammers, right? When they get caught by the police, they are going to come to you and quickly tell you, I tell you what, you pull back your report, I give you back your money.
Okay.
So,
Okay.
but I, in my personal opinion, as much as I know you want your money back, but because of that action, a lot of other people are going to continue to become victims. So maybe it's something which I guess it comes down to your conscience, whether you want your money back or you want this guy to actually pay for what he has done. Because here's the thing, a lot of people say, when they catch why can't the police give me back my money? Here's the thing, just say I've scammed the both of you, 10,000 each, but I've spent 5,000. Now, how do I give the money back to you? Are you going to say, Nama, we equally split? I can say, no, another 5,000 was my own money. So there's always a thing whereby, the money has been spent, your chances are you're not going to get your money back.
There's no kind of insurance that we can buy for scams or anything.
For scam.
Right?
No, I'm very sure insurance companies will not do it because what's going to happen then is you're going to set yourself up with your friends and you're going to say, hey, I'm going to transfer money to you and I'm going to say I became a victim of a Macau scammer. And,
Then you become a scam. Then you become a scammer.
Then you become a scammer as well. So yeah.
Okay. So what should we do then, Shamir? If we have been scammed, who do we report to?
Okay. The most important thing now, and this is why I say, the police department has worked very, or they put in a lot of effort. There's a new app called, actually the app has been around for a while. They just recently did a launch. It's called Semak Mule.
Semak Mule.
SEMAKMULE.
Okay.
Semak Mule. So what this does is basically it detects a mule account. So they say, you say, okay, transfer your money to me. This is my account number. Before I do that, and this works very well, especially with online shopping, I'm going to put your account number into this app and it will tell me if someone has made a report on your account number before or not. Okay. So that's one. And also there's a new feature where you can also put the telephone number of the person in there. So if someone has already made a report against your contact number and your account number or your account number, the minute I put those details in, it'll pop up, say, berhati-hati, ada 7 laporan, 6 laporan, 1 laporan. So immediately it's a red flag. Never ever transfer your money to this account. So the police has done an amazing job with this application. In fact, I use it very often. Previously it was a browser, now it's an application. Amazing. So please download that application. It's called Semak Mule, SEMAKMULE. It's available on the Google Play Store and also the Apple iStore. So that's one of the best ways. 2, just remember, anyone can call you. You are probably going to panic, but just remember, cut the line and call them back, or you can call me or call the police. But once you have become a victim, please make a police report. That's very, very important. Unless a police report has been made, one action cannot be taken if nobody makes a police report. 2, people will not know how severe this issue is. You might say, Alama, what's the point of making a police report? Not like I can get my money back.
Yeah.
Right? But it's still important to make the report, one, so that at least they can try to catch the guy, or the syndicate that's involved. And two is that at least the details now are going to be part of that SEMA Mule application. Yeah.
Ah, okay. All right. But I mean,
Mm.
sometimes we lose trust in these agencies, right? These
Yes.
legitimate agencies,
Yes.
because scams are now so widespread. We don't even
Yeah.
know who's the good guy, who's the bad guy.
That's very true. And I think, again, especially with the latest news, when you find out, this Dato had these agencies on their payroll, it puts even more, lagi lah, you want to trust them also, like, cannot be, very dangerous, don't trust these people, don't trust that people. But at the end of the day, the reality is there's a smaller group of bad apples than a larger group. And it's just this small group that basically spoils the whole bunch. I've worked very closely with the police and various departments, and I could say there's a lot of effort being put into making sure that they build the confidence back in the communities and also towards the people. So if anything, please feel free, go up to the police station, make a report. If a bank official is calling you, cut the line, call the bank back. Banks also all the time send out circulars, please don't do this, please don't do that. Again, no one reads them. But but that's why I say, platforms like what you have on LITE is amazing, because now people are listening and they are going to remember this.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Shamir, for enlightening us on all these things. Any final words of advice you'd like to give to all our listeners?
Yes, actually. So like we said, I think one of the best ways is to always stay on track on what are the current scams which are going on. And one of the best platforms we have is our Facebook page. Again, check it out, Prevent Crime Now, or another one is called Crime, Crooks and Criminology. You can check those platforms out. And of course, before I end, I actually want to thank LITE FM actually for doing this. Again, from time and time, I always tell people the best way is to understand what's currently going on, and you guys are providing the platform for that. So thank you very much for helping the public and
to raise awareness, I guess.
To raise awareness, yes, of course, that's very important. The best way to know what's going on is to know how it happens, and this is one of these platforms. So thank you guys very much.
Now it's Macau Scam.
Yeah.
Have you smelt any other scam along the horizon that's coming up?
Well, every other time there's some new scam that tries to pop up, so when it comes up, it will be on our page.
Yeah, and we'll be in touch again.
Definitely. Thank you very much.